Yeah, but I don't really know at this point when they're coming, so we're just gonna. That sounds like a couple minutes. Okay, so let me talk through it. Listen up to my explanation so you know I kind of draw the dots on your notes because it does matter. There's like little subtle differences. So last unit was one variable. We took one variable, we found the mean, IQR, standard deviation, all that stuff for like one variable. Now we have two variables. And we're looking at the relationship between them. So like you guys have all seen, like you got a bunch of dots, you look at the line of best fit. So that's what this whole unit's about. We're just going like much deeper into it than you have seen before. So a big part of it is it's abbreviated as the letter R. It stands for correlation. Which would be really cool if they called it like C. You know, first letter, but they didn't. There's also an R squared, which makes it even more confusing. But okay, so R is correlation. Describes the strength and direction of a relationship between two variables. It is always between -1 and 1. -1 would mean that you have a negative sloped line. And it doesn't matter the slope. The slope could be very steep, it could be almost flat. But all the dots are perfectly lined up on that line. So like this would be a -1, this would be a -1, that the slope makes no difference. It's just are the dots on the line. And is it pointing down or up? Perfect positive would be a relationship with an R of 1. So all the dots are on the line and the line is sloping up. And it could be sloping up like this, it could be sloping up like this, it could be sloping up like this. It doesn't matter. It just means it's sloping up and the dots are all on the line. 0 is no relationship at all. So like it's just a random pattern. Which, you know what's crazy about our school? If you graph GPA down here and SAT score up here, what would you expect? Like this, right? You would think like a higher GPA leads to a higher SAT. I've looked at this over a few years. I mean, it's absolutely like there's nothing, which means grades at this school are not necessarily indicative of high perform on actual standardized tests. And those are two different things, I know, but you would think there'd be some relationship. Anyway, so that means no relationship. And then you get like things in the middle. So this moderate is like downward sloping, but that's not perfect, right? It's pretty strong because I can see that pattern. So this might be like -0.6, -0.7, somewhere down. This would be weak negative. So you see how these are less like clustered together in a line than this was? But more of a downward pattern than this is. Does that make sense what we're looking at there? So this might be like -0.2, -0.3, somewhere around there. And the same thing on the other side. So this is no pattern. So that's like as weak as it gets. There's nothing going on there. This is like a weak relationship where it's positive. So it's kind of upward sloping, but not very strong. Like the points are not clustered together. But I can tell it's going up. This is a little better. So now we're at moderate. This might be like 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. We're definitely going up, and it's a little tighter to like if I drew a line there, it's closer to that line than if I drew the line here. And then very strong would be like this is perfect. Very strong might be something like this. Like that's very strong, but not perfect. So it might be like 0.9 or something. All right, so go ahead and I'll give you a second to write those down, but I wanted to explain the dots because they're not just like random dots. you're not going to Schoology, how about games we're gonna look at? Stats. Yeah, probably. Some people got way into it. The counter cell, showed me like 6 hours later, you're still playing. Did you? So I gave time. Like after I show you the games and we play for a couple months together, I'll give you time to play or do the notes. And some people were just like, I'll do the notes later. And some people are like, this is stupid, I just want to do the notes. Either is fine. Really? The first one's fun because it has like 80s like video game sounds. Am I good to go to Schoology or are people still writing? Let me ask that differently. Is that would anybody like more time to write this up? We're good? You okay? Alright, so if I go to Schoology, there's 3 games you can pick from. I think the first one's the most fun. But I will show you all of them. Feel free to turn your sound up. These 80s video game sounds make me happy. So you're trying to guess. Like, if it's on the AP test, the choices they give you will be pretty far apart. They're not going to say, like, here's a bunch of dots. Is it 0.7 or 0.71? Like, there's no way to eyeball that and tell. It'll be like, is it 0.7 or 0.2? So we're just trying to guess. I would say this. So this, first of all, positive or negative? You guys are all just playing, right? Listening to me anymore. Positive or negative for this one on the board? Positive. I would say that's like moderately strong. Maybe a little more. I'm going to say like 0.6. But I'm not like perfect. 0.78, so I was off by quite a bit. I think you get like, if you're within 0.1, I think you get it right. And then if you don't, you lose a heart. If you have full hearts and get it right, you get 5 points. If you get it on the nose, you get 5 points. And when you run out of hearts, the game's over. 0.1, right? Yeah. So, that to me looks like 0. Mine? Let's see. 0.07. So I did not lose a heart, but I didn't get one back either. I've never played for more than like 5 minutes. Oh, a perfect number? Yeah, you will. If you play for, yeah. There were a bunch last hour. I'm going to say like 0.65. One decimal place. It's not perfect, but 0.1 away. 0.01 away. So that's one of them. Can you guys stop playing for a second and look up so I can show you the other 2? This one is not as fun, I'll admit, but if you want more, if you want to play with it. So hit new sample. It'll give you a bunch of dots, and you guess. That's pretty high. I'm going to say like 0.95, 0.981, and then you just reset. So that there's not like cool music or anything. And then the third one is multiple choice, which is usually more what it would look like on a test. Except the coding in this applet doesn't make them far enough apart. Like, I know what this one is. Which one does that have to be? The positive one, right? But then the other 3, that's tough. I think this is probably the strongest, which would mean it's the closest to -1, so that one. I don't know about these 2. I'm going to guess this. And then I get the sad face. Yeah, so this is like a cool idea, but their numbers are way too close together. I know that must be this. That's the really strong negative. That's the other negative. But like, I don't know how to eyeball whether that's 0.73 or 0.8. I think this bottom left one looks a little stronger, but I'm not super confident. So if you're asked to eyeball, the numbers will be like reasonably far apart. And your calculator does it too if you have the data. But so at this point, I'm done. You can either play one of those games or we'll use this time to work on your reading notes. You should have the notes done by tomorrow, and then we're going to move on tomorrow. Fair enough? Good, good? Okay, thank you. It's like fair enough. I got one right. Nice.